And tonight, an update on an Ingram Angle exclusive. A Trump administration source telling the Angle that a criminal investigation of Adam Schiff is underway.
Well, what is this? Senator Adam, he's in a little bit of trouble. Hi, it's Richard Cole. Rich is talking. Maybe you don't remember that much about him. I do. I think probably you do too. He's the one that was pushing this Russian collusion against Trump. Always going on about Russian collusion. It's there, it's there. Listen to this.
Congressman, before we go any farther, because I want to draw a distinction, since we've been saying here that some of the facts can get muddled here in the president's language. I want to make sure we're being precise in our conversation. Can you agree that there has been no evidence of collusion, coordination, or conspiracy that has been presented thus far between the Trump campaign and Russia?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy in plain sight.
And then what does he say?
So I do view this as an early test of whether our democracy is recovering, a test of the principle that no one is above the law, that the law applies equally to everyone.
Yeah, no one's above the law. No one's above the law. Well, now, looks like he's not above the law either. They're going after him.
In a 2011 affidavit signed by the then California congressman, he certified that a property in Montgomery County, Maryland, is his primary residence. He also owns a condo in Burbank, California, which he's also claimed is his primary residence, and said so in 2023 during his campaign for Senate.
I think just about every member of Congress has a residence in their state and a residence back in D.C. since we're in session much of the week. And people make a family decision where they're going to have their kids. But our principal residence, our primary residence is in California. It always has been and always will be.
Ruh-roh. Well, Senator Schiff has not responded to us about these allegations, but we were able to find a statement that his campaign spokesperson gave to CNN back in 2023. She said that the Burbank condo is his primary residence, but Adams' California and Maryland addresses have been listed as primary residences for loan purposes because they're both occupied throughout the year and to distinguish them from a vacation property. Well, the law does not work that way. Let me just say that, but nice try.
Is this retribution or vengeance or what? By the Trump administration? Yeah, it probably is. Do they deserve it? Hell yeah. I'm going to review what they threw at him during his first term and in between terms and still going on. It's just amazing what they did. And the man got elected president. Don't forget, this was a guy who was a billionaire, had a great business going, decided to go into public service, run for president, never had a public office before, and he won the first time. They did all they could to tear him down, and they did tear him down, and he lost the next election. But he came back. It's the greatest recovery in history, greatest comeback in history. And so let's just see if they're deserving of retribution, vengeance, getting even. All means the same thing.
New reporting here after that unprecedented FBI search at the home of former President Trump at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Tonight, ABC News has learned that the FBI told the Secret Service just 45 minutes before they arrived, and then the Secret Service telling Mar-a-Lago staff just moments before those agents arrived. Sources telling ABC News the search is related to allegations the former president improperly removed documents when he left the White House. They were brought to Mar-a-Lago, including classified material. And it wasn't the first time federal agents had been to Mar-a-Lago, their first visit in the spring. We have learned tonight that it was a staff member at Mar-a-Lago who called Eric Trump, and Eric Trump who then called his father to tell him about the search. The former president was in New York, seen leaving Trump Tower last night, and tonight here the first words from the former president while calling into a political event, saying, "Another day in paradise. This is a strange day." Sources tell ABC News the Department of Justice had started a grand jury investigation in May about alleged mishandling of classified information.
Yes, Mar-a-Lago. In an unprecedented move, the FBI raided Trump's home in Florida. I don't think there was any reason for this. It was to get documents back that they said were classified, and he shouldn't have had them. They went in, and not only did they grab all the stuff, they went through the First Lady's panties drawer. They went through everything. It was disgusting what they did to a former president. done under the Biden administration. That's how they did it. They could have stepped outside or came outside Mar-a-Lago and said, we're coming in if you don't give us the documents. But they didn't. They showed up and went right in. They raided. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So what happened after that? They went after Trump. They had a special prosecutor to get him. They were going after Trump, but guess what? They did not go after Biden. Biden had classified documents in his garage and nobody protecting it. His Corvette was there protecting it. That was okay because he was a Democrat. Except Biden had it from when he was a senator. A senator is not allowed to take classified documents. A president is. A president can declassify it. They can say it's not classified anymore. A president has the right to do that. A senator doesn't. Biden took these documents when he was a senator. So they did not charge Biden with anything. He got away. But the special prosecutor was brought forward to go after Trump for the same thing, the same crime that Biden was guilty of. So that special prosecutor was Jack Smith, and he was kind of nasty. When he saw Trump was doing well in the election coming up in 2024, he went to the Supreme Court every way he could, try to rush the trial to try to affect the election. That's what he did. So now they're after Mr. Jack Smith.
All right, well, moving on to this now. Former Trump prosecutor Jack Smith is now under investigation for potentially violating the Hatch Act, which restricts government employees from engaging in political activities.
Chanley Painter joins us now with the details. Hey, Chanley.
Hey, good morning, guys. So the Office of Special Counsel confirming it's opened that investigation against former Special Counsel Jack Smith. This after Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton sent this letter saying, quote, I write requesting the Office of Special Counsel to investigate whether Jack Smith, Special Counsel for Attorney General Merrick Garland, unlawfully took political actions to influence the 2024 election to harm then candidate President Donald Trump.
Is this retribution? Vengeance? Getting even? Probably so. And I'm not against it. Some of you probably are. I'm not. In Georgia, they went after Trump for making a phone call during the 2020 election, saying to whoever it was down there, somebody that counts the votes or whatever, it said to him, find me 11,000 votes. Now you could take that two ways. Liberal people and the liberal prosecutor down there all said, that means go out and fictitiously make votes, create votes. I say, and the right says, he meant scour the records, make sure you didn't miss anything. See if you can find 11,000 votes. And the fact that you can take either way, I don't see how you can prosecute somebody for that. A good judge or jury might say it's not beyond a reasonable doubt. So what happened there? The prosecutor, Fani Willis.
The Georgia Court of Appeals just made a major ruling in the Trump election interference case. In a surprising turn of events, the Georgia Court of Appeals has disqualified Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis from prosecuting the election interference case against Donald Trump and his allies. The decision was handed down by a 3-judge panel, all appointed by Republicans, with a 2-1 ruling. The court's reasoning? It centers on Willis's prior romantic relationship with Nathan J. Wade, the special prosecutor she hired to manage the case. This relationship, the court determined, created a conflict of interest. This decision overturns a previous ruling from March 2024, where a trial judge had allowed Willis to remain on the case despite the relationship being brought to light. Now, with this latest ruling, the future of the prosecution is in serious doubt.
She's getting her due. Is this retribution? Vengeance? Getting even? Think so. Does she deserve it? Absolutely.
A New York judge just ruled in the civil fraud case that Trump is liable of falsifying business records, conspiracy, and issuing false financial statements, among other claims. Now, Trump and the Trump Organization is now expected to repay more than $354 million. New York Attorney General Letitia James had accused the former president and his organization of overstating his net worth in order to win favorable terms on loans.
Did she use her power to politically target Trump trampling on his constitutional rights. I wonder where anyone would have gotten that idea.
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president. It's important that everyone understand that the days of Donald Trump are coming to an end.
Do you think that's enough proof that she violated President Trump's civil rights?
This case is so ridiculous, and you should be worried about it too. Basically, Trump overvalued his property, and she accuses him of doing that to get a better loan or to get better loan terms. And the thing is, it was with one of the major banks. Banks never accept the value that the borrower puts on it anyway. So Deutsche Bank, which is the bank involved here, a major international bank, came in and looked at his properties, the values Trump was using, and then they made a decision what loan to give him. And then Trump eventually paid the loan back. Now, in order to have fraud, which is what he was accused of and found guilty of, you have to have someone losing money somewhere. Nobody lost any money. That's fraud. But this happens in New York. Kangaroo court in New York, exactly what it is. And you'll find out if you research this. Trump was found guilty by the judge before they presented their defense. What the hell is that? So this is another one just pisses me off, and I hope they really get Letitia James. She's just a disgusting person. Her and Alvin Bragg, New York is just going to hell. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that one, and I hope they get retribution. Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels was a porn star that Trump was charged with having had an affair with her while he was married. And I believe he did. I'm not arguing that point at all. She came after him, I think it was, 8 or 10 years after it happened, but it was when Trump was running for president. So then she said she was going to expose him for having that affair. Trump hired an attorney named Michael Cohen, who represented him in dealing with Stormy Daniels. And they came up with an agreement to pay her several $100,000. So the attorney paid it, and then he charged the Trump organization for legal expenses. That's how it was covered. And there were a number of, I think, 34 times they split up that payment into 34 payments and entered them on the books as legal expenses. It really is legal expenses. How can you say it isn't? It is. And that's a misdemeanor. The whole thing's a misdemeanor. But this Alvin Bragg, another DA, district attorney, Letitia James was Attorney General for New York. Alvin Bragg's a district attorney for Manhattan. He also ran on getting after Trump for something. He didn't care what it was, going to get him on something. And he goes after Trump. And if it was a misdemeanor, the statute of limitations would have said there's no case. But he said it was to affect a federal election. He twisted it around and did away with the statute of limitations and said it's now a federal crime. And that's how they charged him. And said, and the jury, which is Manhattan people, all Democrats, found him guilty. It's a felony. They made it a felony, so therefore he's a felon. And they say 34 counts of felonies. You know what they are? Each count is, well, they entered this for $350 for the legal expense. This is another $420 legal expense. It all went back. If you added it all up, it went to that money that went to Stormy Daniels. That's what the 34 counts are. It's really one case. It could have been one count, but they tried to make it as bad as they could. That's the Democrats. That's how they work. That one just pisses me off, and that's also an appeal. They lost the first appeal. They're going to get it out of New York and into a federal court. That's what they're trying to do. And I hope they win that because it's just ridiculous. That one pisses me off as well. Do you know that they're saying, well, Biden had nothing to do with this case? You may not realize they brought a prosecutor in from the Department of Justice in Washington and sent him to help Alvin Bragg try this case against Trump. I don't know where they're doing the retribution right now. I hope they do. I'd be all in favor of that. This was disgusting. This is what you see in a third world country. Finally, the last one, another one, tried in New York, New York jury, had to do with E. Jean Carroll. She charged him 20 years after the fact with sexual abuse. She charged him with rape too. And he maintains he doesn't know who she is, never met her. She maintains that it happened. So what happened with E. Jean Carroll and Donald Trump? I'm going to read what was in her book. This is from the New York Times. She describes what begins as a friendly encounter as Mr. Trump, whom she'd met once before, she says. Trump says he never met her. He asks her to try on lingerie that he is considering buying as a gift. Once they enter the dressing room, according to Miss Carroll, now what, she's going to go in and try on the lingerie in front of him? I don't know what that means. Once they enter the dressing room, according to Miss Carroll, Mr. Trump pushed her against the wall, pushed his mouth against her lips, pulled down her tights, unzipped his pants, and forced his fingers around my private area, quotes, thrust his penis halfway or completely, I'm not certain, inside me. She wrote that she struggled and fought back and ran out of the dressing room and that the whole episode lasted no more than 3 minutes. She didn't go to the police but she did tell two close friends, both journalists. So she didn't do anything for 20 years. So the only witnesses she had were the two people she told. That's hearsay, isn't it? I mean, she didn't go to anybody. She didn't report it. People in the store didn't hear anything. I think it's bogus, the whole thing. That's what I think. She got a huge amount of money and then Trump got pissed off and called her names afterwards, and she went after him for defamation of character, and he had to pay her again. So that was a very expensive encounter for her. I don't know if that's appealable, but it's disgusting. Another New York jury. That's all they do in New York. I don't blame Trump for moving out of New York. It's a terrible city if you're a Republican. You don't want to be there. So this is to sum up why there's retribution going on, and I think people shouldn't be allowed to get away with this. The Democrats do all this stuff, and then if you say, well, that was in the past, let's go forward, Democrats will do it again. There's got to be punishment for this stuff, wherever they can. I don't see it in the E. Jean Carroll case, but I don't know about the Stormy Daniels. I'd like to see them go after Bragg, the district attorney, for something. I'm sure he's got something. I think they should look for a crime now on him, just like he looked for crimes. Let's look for a crime on Alvin Bragg. Tear that SOB down. So that's all for now. You can see I'm not really happy today, but if some of these things come through, I'll be very happy. So bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe. It means a lot to me. I'm open to all your comments, good or bad. I read them all. Thank you and goodbye.